Hola a todos, bienvenidos a un nuevo video. Ah, pensé tratar de hacer esta entrevista en español, pero pienso que necesito practicar más, poder hacer una cosa como esta. Así, vamos a hacerlo en inglés. Muchas gracias a Angy, porque ella puede hablar español mucho mejor que yo puedo hablar en español. Okay, Angie, it's very good to see you.
Nice seeing you too and meeting you online.
Yeah, nice to meet you. We've tweeted back and forth. We had a couple DMs, but haven't actually seen each other face to face in a video. So here we are.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
the tweet that brought us together was I sent out a photo of comparing my two screens, the Vimeo version of my video and the YouTube version of my video. And the
yeah.
YouTube version had to be very pixelated, and that started our whole conversation back and forth. But before we get into all of that, I thought it would be good to get an introduction, at least for my subscribers, a little bit about who you are. I've got my cheat sheet here, and just yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into naturism, and yeah.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the space. And well, I've been a naturist nudist for 2000 since 2017. So that will be what, 6 years?
Yeah.
And at that time, a friend of mine, she invited me to a pool party in Guadalajara. I'm from Mexico, and so she invited me to a pool party. And the moment I arrived, I never had like that many issues with nudity. So I was like, okay, sure, why not? Let's try it. No, so I went, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this paradise existed. And it's like, why am I only getting to know it this right now? No, but it was like, I was what, 26, 17, 26 years old.
Wow.
And so I was like, I love it. No. And from there, I started actively participating in events. And the thing that brought me to start creating content was in 2020 that I got fired now for being a nudist and working on or participating on YouTube and other activities that the owners of the school decided to end my contract. And so I was really angry, and I was like, why should I stop being me just to fit in a job? No, like,
Yeah.
why I need to do that? And I was like, no way, I will not go back to the closet of nudity, no, or nudist. And so I started at that time, my girlfriend and I started to creating videos and focusing more on female nudism, no, or LGBT, especially L. And we started like making videos on YouTube and starting our communities in Mexico. And from there on, I continue on. Right now, I'm by myself. I started traveling around Mexico to explore nudism and places where Mexicans can practice nudism. No,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm right now standing.
Cool. I really enjoyed your cenote video the other day. That's on my
Yeah,
bucket list. Eventually, I have to get down there and visit
yeah,
the cenotes with clothes on or clothes off. That
yeah.
matters less to me than actually seeing it because it's such a magical sort of place to have those
Yeah,
underground waters like that. It's just
space.
gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah,
But I am jealous that some of you have been able to go in there nude. That sounds especially
yeah.
great.
Yeah, it gives you a deeper connection.
Yeah. So you got fired from your job because you were a
Yeah,
naturist, and then you had your original YouTube channel.
yeah,
But then something happened to the YouTube channel, right? Originally?
yeah, yeah. This year, April, yeah, and this year, April, we we had the channel for 3 years, and in April I was buying an ice cream in the mall, and suddenly I received an email that says your YouTube channel was deleted. I was like, what? No, because we didn't had a strike or anything. No, suddenly we
Yeah.
received a message, and I tried to read the email to see if it was like a misunderstanding or something, or there was I had the opportunity to, how do you call it when you ask it back? And
Yeah, that's about
when,
right. Ask for it to be restored.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we sent an email, and we tried to talk with the how do you call it, like the in the chat and all that stuff, but they
Yeah.
say no, sorry, there is no possibility to return your channel. And unfortunately, we had two channels. No, one of the where we talk about trips, tips, events, etc., and the other one of our podcast. No, that also it talks about nudism. And unfortunately, the other channel is still there, but we cannot enter it. No, so it's
Yeah.
like dead. No, we don't know, and we can add any more videos and anything. No, so we lost two channels at the same time,
Mm.
and that was really it was really sad, because 3 years of your work, that suddenly somebody because of their morality tells you, no, you cannot continue. It's like 3 years of work. No.
Yeah. And you would think there would be some kind of process, some kind of like strikes, some strikes first to kind of
Mm-hmm.
let you know that there's a problem and try to work it out, find a solution. But no, it's like someone walked up behind you, watching you do the same thing over and over again, and then finally just like hits you on the back of the head, just from
Yeah,
behind without any warning. What did I do?
yeah,
I don't even know what I did because you didn't tell me. You just deleted the channel.
yeah, and with no possibility to return it back. So it was really sad. No, but at the same time, I was like, okay, um, what do I do? No, well, and that time it was a channel together, and the relationship also ended. So I was like, okay, now it's a new opportunity. Am I going back to YouTube? I'm like going to on Vimeo, because we know YouTube is the bigger audience. No,
Yeah.
sadly, no, and you need to be very creative on how to talk about your lifestyle without being censored. No, because you want your voice out there, because Vimeo, it's cool that you can. It's cool, but at the same time, it's I don't know if you had to pay the month,
I
like
did. I
the,
did. Yeah.
yeah. And it you have to pay to upload videos, and if you want
Yeah.
more videos, you have to pay more,
Just for
and
the viewers, real quick, if you want to upload a tiny bit of video onto Vimeo, that's free. But if you want to upload like actual content, you have to pay over $200 per year, US
Mhm.
dollars. And so that's a little bit of an investment up front, but it buys us the opportunity to have our videos up without being censored.
Yeah, but and also unfortunately, it's a lower audience. No,
Yeah.
so my plan is not only fit the nudist or naturist community. I want my boys to be out there for those that want to know more about nudism, and they can see what is it about. Now,
Yeah.
so I wanted to go back to YouTube now. So right now I'm starting. I started what today is September. I started in June, July, no, July, August. So I'm a baby again on YouTube, no, and I try to walk carefully, because I don't want again that they take out my channel. So I had to put over 18 years old, that this is not a kids content and things like that, no. And
Yeah.
it's sad, because it makes you feel that nudity again is for old people or older people, not for
Hmm.
all
Yeah.
ages. No, and no, it's
Well,
like,
they're lumping us in with inappropriate content, which I
yeah.
still don't understand. It's one of those weird things with the culture right now where this is perceived as so wrong. Like
Hmm.
just the human image on screen is seen as so dangerous that it has to be lumped in with all these other kinds of adult materials.
Yeah. And I've seen cartoons on YouTube that is like you see that is like this is not for kids, and it's but because it's cartoon, it's appropriate for kids. It's like no, I honestly feel nudist naturist content is safer for kids than
Yeah,
this type of cartoons. No, but because
like
it's a
cartoons where
cartoon,
people are getting their heads cut off and there's all the blood and the guts and everything. Yeah,
yeah.
totally. There's a lot of that.
So it's like a lot of incongruence over there. But yeah,
Yeah.
so.
One of my favorite examples recently has been uh, all of the naked videos on YouTube that don't get censored. And
Mhm.
it's kind of suspicious to me, the ones that don't, because when one of my videos got censored just here recently in the last few months, I went searching all over YouTube for all the other things that didn't get censored. And one of the things that I found was Brazilian waxes, or women were getting all the waxing done down there.
Mhm.
And it's close up, like as close as you can possibly get. And the whole video is right there. You see everything. That stays up. But a person talking about naturism is
Is
so inappropriate that it has to be struck from the platform.
yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, no. And you think why a kid or underage will want to see how it's a what's going on. Now it's like,
Hmm.
but a person walking in that chair is forbidden. It's like
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
I don't know if the waxing videos were set to over 18 or not, but like, but even when I did set my content for over 18, I would have videos struck down. I actually had my channel deleted for a little bit there. And again, like you said, without warning, my channel just got deleted completely. Um, but these other videos, um, age restricted or not, they get to stay up forever. And I don't
Hmm.
understand yet what the difference is.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love that you stood up for your channel and was like, hey, YouTube, here have evidence of why you cannot take my channel down. So, and that was really nice. And when I saw that they returned your channel, I was like, that's amazing, no? Because
Yeah,
normally most naturist channels that I have heard that they get down, they cannot bring it back again. No, so it's like,
yeah.
yeah, that was a
I
win
couldn't believe
for.
it worked. What I did was for people who are unfamiliar, what I did was I got in touch with the YouTube support team on Twitter, and I
Hmm.
sent them like 6 examples of other people's naked videos, and I said, "Hey, my channel was just deleted for having videos just like this on my
Hmm.
channel. So how come my channel gets deleted, but all these videos get to stay?" And after a
Yeah.
little bit of talking back and forth, they said, "Oh, we'll just put your channel back up." Okay. So the
Yeah.
channel's back up now. I don't know for how long, because honestly, they could come back and do the same thing whenever they want.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah. It's
I'm
their
censoring
house.
myself with the pixelated videos and everything when there's nudity and whatnot, because like you said, YouTube is a huge audience.
Yeah.
And after thinking about it for a long time, I decided that it was more important to keep my voice on the platform than it was for me to appear on screen exactly the way that I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I have Vimeo, and everyone who watches my YouTube channel will know because I mentioned it in the videos that I'm also on Vimeo, so they can go over there and see the regular content. But yeah, it was a nice surprise that the channel
Yeah.
ended up getting put back up.
Yeah.
So your original channel got taken down. So this isn't your original channel getting back up that you're doing now. This is a whole new thing that you're doing.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
a new project and starting from zero.
Yeah. And you have a Patreon too as well, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's like it helps me to how do you say like hi. I forgot the word also in Spanish, but it helps me to continue traveling, exploring,
Yeah.
working, and all that stuff. And also, like over there, since I use Vimeo for Patreon, I can upload my videos without being like precautious morally and all that stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out about Patreon from a YouTuber that is not a naturist. But then I found out that Hector and Andrea that they had a Patreon, and
Hmm.
that fascinated me that naturists could get connected with Vimeo and Patreon and still be able to, make money for their content without
Hmm.
having to go through the YouTube process. And so as I was talking
Yeah.
to my wife about this the other day, I said, well, if YouTube is going to keep censoring me, and if I have to keep censoring myself, and this isn't the truest form of my content in the first place, maybe I should focus more on growing my Patreon instead of the YouTube channel, since YouTube probably isn't going to monetize me anyway.
Hmm.
But as someone who's been on YouTube and Patreon, I wanted to kind of ask your advice about that. Do you think I'm going the right direction by saying maybe I should focus more on Patreon than the YouTube side?
I was struggling on that too because I was in Hector and Andrea, and they feed a lot of their patron, no? But
Yeah,
then I had the other hand with Nick and Lens from Naked Wanderings, and I talked to them too, and they were like, "Well, our audience on YouTube, our audience and social media is this big, and so it helped us to have our voice out there and that people can find us, no?
yeah,
And that will feed our patron." And so I was like, okay, I have the two opposites over here. No, those that want to focus on the big screen, and those that want to focus on just a small uh, group of people. No,
yeah,
so right now I'm between both. No, it's like I want to grow the big audience because I want my voice being out there. No,
yeah,
and but of course I need to eat, I need to pay where I'm going to sleep, all that stuff, and I need the money now. So I'm going to also offer this public specific information or content that can help me continue my trip, so this audience can also find out about nudism. No, so I
yeah,
decided to go in between, like in the middle, and feed the both communities. No, it's like uh, but I don't, my fear was I don't want to be seen as, okay, YouTube is censored. If you want to see me naked, go to Patreon.
yeah,
Because then that made me feel that I'm selling my body now. And I didn't want to have that message. So I was like, okay, how can I like continue promoting my content? Because I know social media will not allow me to monetize. But if I want to continue this lifestyle, I need to monetize now. So it's like, okay, I will do the same videos, but I will work strategically.
hmm,
So for YouTube, especially, you know, it's like, and then the other one be as I am normally, no, but
yeah,
like record the legs walking on the sand or my back or things that YouTube are not like scared of, and continue also on Instagram, on Twitter, on Body Social, that is Mastodon, and over there continue promoting nudism as it's allowed, no.
yeah,
So yeah, I decided to go for in the middle, like continue growing both communities, trying to be at the same, no,
yeah,
uh, but obviously these ones are going to have the privilege of having the voice, and these are going to help me, so these can continue hearing the voice, no.
yeah. It
So
sounds
yeah.
like your approach is kind of similar to mine, which is good to hear. What I've been doing recently is I've been, of course, censoring the things on YouTube. My censorship strategy is a little bit different from yours. I think because I'm still angry about being censored, and so I told my wife that I'm censoring myself this hard to because I'm like, is this good enough? Is this finally censored enough for you people? But but then I have the regular versions on Vimeo, but then I have more and more Patreon exclusive content. And
Mhm.
so I have so much nude content on Vimeo that I don't feel like I'm selling my body on Patreon as much as I am selling the, how would you say it? Can't find the word in English. Uh, I guess events, activities. Like for example, I made a really fun video recently where I made sushi. And
Mhm.
because that one wasn't a big idea, I felt okay keeping that one on Patreon. And there's still a a little tiny short version on Vimeo that everyone can see. That was actually one of the funnest things I've ever done for my channel was that little shortened version because the
Hmm.
music is so happy and the little shots are lined up.
Yeah.
It's really short. It was
Hmm.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I also do that on Patreon. I was like, I share my trip, how was my experience, and for my patrons, I share more detailed information. You know, how did I feel? What were the obstacles that I had to face? What is my next step? Now to more details of my trips. Now it's like
Yeah,
probably it's the same image, but I will provide more information of the background or my next future trip, etc. No,
yeah.
so yeah.
Speaking of trips, you said that Patreon will help you be able to travel. And with my Patreon this year, I've started to make just enough money that I'm starting to be able to think about traveling. And I was talking to Hector about it a few weeks ago, and he mentioned Cipolite, and I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot about Cipolite. And so my wife and I were looking
Mhm.
at plane tickets, and it looks
Mhm.
surprisingly affordable. I don't think I'll be able to go in February, but I think
Mm.
maybe in 2025, I probably will
Yeah.
come down to Cipolite.
Awesome.
So that'll be very exciting. I
Yeah.
haven't been out of the country in a long time, so I got to get a passport and all those things. But that's far enough away that I'll probably
Oh,
be able to. But it's cool that Patreon is allowing me to have these thoughts now that I can actually go and make content with these bigger naturist places.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but I was able to go to Cypress Cove this summer, and I made a tour video with the marketing director there, and that was so much fun being able to go to a big fancy naturist resort and be able to go around and make the big video for
Yeah.
them. That was cool too. Now, before we run out of time, I told you there was a big question I wanted to ask you
Yes.
because you're a woman naturist. Now, I'm a naturist, but I'm a man. And I can talk all the time about women in naturism this, women in naturism that. I can talk about all the ideas. And even if I get everything right, it's still not going to be quite the same as getting it from an actual woman.
Yes.
So I have a couple questions about being a woman in naturism. So
Bring it on.
I guess first, um, what is it like in general? Do you what's something that you feel like is unique to women in naturism that maybe men don't see or understand or hear about? Something that you feel like is unique to being a woman in naturism?
Uh, I will say empowerment. No, it's like I think as a Latin woman, as a Mexican woman, we know how this culture machista it's very very strong. That no,
Yeah,
so speaking of how Latin women, I will say empowerment of our own body, that our body belongs to us.
yeah,
No, and I think that is something very very powerful. Now it's like no matter what you say, you think, you feel outside of you, it's like this is me and this belongs to me and I can do whatever I want with it and you don't have the power to decide over me. No,
yeah,
and for me, that is something that I love to express so other women can feel that power over themselves. No?
yeah. You can definitely see it in your content, that sense of empowerment, that confidence that you're talking about. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was there anything about um, being a woman in naturism that was surprising to you that maybe you didn't expect? Or
The other day I was thinking on that and I made a post that I identify a lot that even in nudism or naturism, uh, it was still that fear of our vulva. Now it's like if you are in a reunion or in natural place, try to sit with your legs closed or try to sit in a
Oh,
formal way so your vulva is not seen, no?
yeah,
But a man can sit with the legs open and there is no problem, no? And so I was questioning the other day that I was like, why do I need to sit in a proper way to be a woman? No, why can I not enjoy? Because honestly, sitting with your legs open is very comfortable, no?
yeah,
And but as many times we are seen as a sexual object, then you have to close your legs, then you have to cover your boobs, then you have to, and all the stuff, so you are not seen. And it's like, why? No. And the other day I saw a very powerful image, and it was like, wow. And it was a female body, and then it was like the boobs and the vulva was taken away from the image and like give it like as here you have, no? And it says, this is what you are bothering me of, here you have it, leave me alone, no? I was like, wow. No, it's
yeah,
like many times as us as a woman, we want to hide our boobs, we want to hide a vulva, we want to hide our butt, because those are the principal things that men, especially men, bother. No, yeah. And so it's like, if you want those, here you have, leave me alone, let me keep living my life now. So questioning those things, no, is, I think, is something that give us a lot. Probably will not be easy at the beginning, but at least questioning, having that voice inside you, like why this is inappropriate, why this is wrong,
yeah.
why this is no, and it helps you open the eyes a lot. No, so yeah.
I don't know why that was so funny. You said open your eyes, and I thought, yeah, open your eyes and open your legs, because you mentioned having your legs
Yeah,
apart was more comfortable.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that people can get used to that kind of thing. I remember when I was in Nicaragua for that summer, I was not a naturist at the time. I'd
Mm-hmm.
never seen a naked woman before, and so I was down there, and I was handing out these pamphlets at this little medical clinic that we were doing, and I didn't speak any Spanish at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was the beginning of the summer, so I knew a little bit. I could say "Hola, adios, donde está el baño," but that was about it. But so I'm handing out these pamphlets, and then all of a sudden I'm 17, and there's a girl about my age breastfeeding, and
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen this before. And so I'm handing out these pamphlets, one, two, and I get to her, and I go, and I freeze up because she's just got the baby there, and the baby's deciding, do I want to eat, do I not want to eat? So her boob is just there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had never seen it up that close before. And so I just kind of set the pamphlet down next to her and I ran away. But then later on that day, I saw another woman breastfeeding. The next day, I saw some more women breastfeeding. So across the course of the summer, by the end of the week, I could see a woman breastfeeding and just go, "Oh, baby," and just go back to what I was doing. It did not
Mm-hmm.
take me long to get used to that kind of thing. So what you're saying about the vulva and legs and everything, keeping things covered, I really think people if women would just all start doing that, men would get used to it very
Mm-hmm.
quickly.
Yeah.
Because the breasts were super distracting at that first day when I saw it, but then after a few days, it was all just people. And the same thing happened in naturism. I was very worried when I was first about to try naturism that I would be too distracted, that I wouldn't be able to stop looking at vaginas and nipples and butts, like you said, like all the things. And I was worried that that was going to be too distracting for me. But then I found out you
Mm-hmm.
get
Then you
used to
saw
it.
a lot of naked bodies and you're like, okay. And
You just have
you forget.
conversations, and it's
Yeah.
nice. You just talk. People
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
understand. Textiles don't understand how easy it is to get used to.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it is like for me, if I go and meet people, naturist people, like my eyes don't go directly to their penis or their vulva or their
Yeah,
boobs. Like, no, because I don't care. Like if I want to see one, I can go on the mirror and I can see myself, or I don't know. Now it's like, but it is not my objective on going into different reunions. Now it's like I want
Yeah.
to meet people, I want to talk, I want to. In the context, it doesn't give you like I don't know. It's like I don't go looking for that. No, it's
Yeah.
like it's not the place. No.
What I've started telling people is that for me, getting into naturism taught me to stop seeing people as, built of parts like a
Uh-huh.
puzzle. But
Yeah.
instead, when I see someone naked in naturism, there's just one person. It's all one thing. It's all the same. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like the whole body is the face, but the face is the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm not going to spend the entire conversation staring at your chin. Okay, I'm looking at your eyes. I'm not looking at your ears. I'm looking at your eyes. I'm not looking at your nose. I'm looking at your eyes. So the face
Mm-hmm.
becomes the eyes of the body,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's easy to just have conversations.
yeah, yeah, and it has a lot of things. No, it's like for example, something that I also realized, I noticed that sometimes women stop doing uh, because I don't know, it is their period, no, or periods, no,
Yeah.
um, and I was wondering, like, why? Now I was like questioning why. And most of the times, women here in Mexico, at least what I have noticed, is that because they feel that they're going to be uncomfortable, no? Like,
Mm.
not probably them to make others uncomfortable. Now
Uh,
it's like, oh, probably I will bleed a little bit and that will be uncomfortable. Or I will, one time, uh, a guy I had a tampon and you know that it has a cord, no?
yeah.
uh, and so one guy one day, he probably he didn't know what is a tampon, and he said, hey, you have something white under your butt. And it's like, oh yeah, it's a tampon, no? Oh. And it's like, welcome to women's world,
Yeah.
no? And so many times women prefer not to participate on activities because they
So that
don't
doesn't
want to
happen.
make other uncomfortable. No, it's like, but what matters is you. If you feel comfortable being in naturism when you're in your period, why to stop it? No, it's like,
Yeah.
fuck the others. But yeah,
Often
but
your own attitude will tell other people how to deal with the situation.
and but that's sad. No, like we are taught since little girls, like, hey, don't make others comfortable, keep quiet, or
Yeah.
things like that. No, so it's something that you have to work a lot on you. So, and the same happens with pubic hair or hair in your armpits or your legs. Now it's like, I don't want to shave today. Why I have to shave? No,
Yeah.
because the others are going to see me and they're going to see that I'm not shaved, and then they're going to criticize me, or they're going to, it's like, so women have to face a lot of stereotypical stereotypes things, but it's, as you said, it's attitude. No, it's like you decide if that bothers you or you face it now
Yeah.
or overcome it.
I go all day and my eye is fine, and now I get something in my eye. This is awesome content. We were talking about women living up to other people's standards, and I've experienced a little bit of that as a man. I had someone tell me just the other day, "Hey, don't you think you should cut your hair?" I've got all this hair. People have told me before, "Oh, you don't have a real beard. You should just shave." And I remember thinking, when people comment on my beard, I always think, this is my beard. This is me. I happen to like the way that I look. This is what my body does. I like my body. I like my beard. I'm going to keep it. So me liking it is enough for me to keep it. I've really admired the nudist women that I've seen online that do grow their hair out. Not
Mhm.
because that's better, but because the fact that they're confident enough for that to be a choice that they can make is awesome. People don't have to grow their body hair out. That's fine. I shaved a lot of my body hair for years, but it, it's an option that women should have access to. Do I want to shave? Do I not? Do I want to wax? Do I not? Do I want to trim? Whatever it is that a
Whatever.
woman wants to do, she should feel free to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of something. I actually saw social media post a few months ago where this guy was talking about how his wife has gotten really comfortable sitting however she wants to sit, and how, like we were talking about before, how it just becomes normal. He didn't see the big deal with it either.
Hmm.
But yeah, in general, I think this is
Yeah,
good. I think naturism is an especially good way for women to break out of a lot of those things, because a lot of these standards revolve around, like you said, what gets covered and what doesn't.
yeah. And what I like is that, of course, we men and women face the problem of stereotypes now,
Yeah.
and all depends on the issue, I would say. Now, I've seen a lot of men working, how do you say, like raising their voices about the size of the
Yeah.
penis. Now, it's
Hmm.
like many, like that is a really strong issue on men now. And women, of course, we have our different issues, no? And what I like is that I see the new generations questioning all that stuff. Now it's
Yeah.
like, why a body needs to fit this and not this other body? Why this is popular and not this other? No, and and I always say it's not about how do you say, like uh, big bodies, no? And people like Nike, for example. Now here in
Hmm.
Mexico happened to be that a woman was the image of Nike, and she's overweight. So people starting to making fun of it, and it's like, why Nike goes under the popular speaking that you have to be on age, or do you say that, like en onda, like
Hmm.
to be popular,
Yeah.
uh, putting this type of women, no? And I questions like, dude, why, like, do you know what representation means? No, it's like, or for example, the Little Mermaid, no, that I remember the name of the actress, that she was the Ariel, and other people started like questioning, is like, why, and it's like or gay people or trans people or like all of that stuff that is going in front, and like the people that are on the normal standards are questions like, why you want to be popular, you're just doing for propaganda and all that stuff. It's like, no, it's because we need representation. No,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people that fit in that group that have never seen as someone occupying that space. So that is very
It is
important
like
for
them.
that group, no? Because you feel like, okay, I can do this too. I can be like this too. I can look like this too. And that is very, very important, no?
I
So
was
it's
saying that
like,
to my wife the other day about female naturist content creators. I can inspire men all day long as a man, and I can tell female viewers that they can do it, that they can try naturism. But it's totally different when you, Angie, when you actually go out and you are telling women that naturism is an option for them.
and
And
that's a, uh-huh. No, tell me.
I remember that when The Little Mermaid came out, a bunch of people in America were freaking out over the fact that she wasn't the exact same race as the original mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
And I've personally gotten really tired of distinguishing people by race so much. I actually really liked that girl's performance as Ariel. I loved almost everything about that movie. It's one of my new favorite Disney movies. I loved the way that she played the character. I love her singing voice. She has a gorgeous
There
voice.
was, yeah.
But I remember telling someone who was talking to me about it, she's a fish. Like I really don't think that what color she is matters very much.
Yeah.
Can we choose more important things to argue about, please?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that female representation in naturism is important, just as important as it is in anything else.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what motivated me to become more a voice, no? Because I was on Twitter, and when I started nudism, and I was like, this woman doesn't represent me. This other woman doesn't represent me. No, it's like, because I don't see on them uh, who I am. No, and I was like, where are all the Mexican or Latin women out there, no, and young, because many of them were women in their 50s and their 60s, and it's like we're women of my age that
Yeah.
I feel connected with, no. So it's like, okay, I don't see the representation, then I want to become one, because I know that when I was starting to look at, I didn't find. So I started. So then I wanted other women to, when they are interested in nudism, naturism, they can find people that makes connection with them. No,
Yeah.
so it's like, if you don't find the representation, so be one. No.
You couldn't find someone who represented you, so you decided to represent other women like you.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That reminds me a little bit of how I decided to start my channel. I'm a naturist and I'm a Christian. I'm super religious, I guess a lot of people would say, but Christians don't really talk about this. And I
Mhm.
looked and I looked and I looked for young outdoorsy Christians who were also naked. I couldn't find that, and I thought, well, maybe I can be someone for someone else to find. So it sounds like you and I had a fairly similar thought process with that, which is cool.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right, a lot of naturists tend to be older, and it's a problem in terms of perception, but it's not a problem um, really. It's not really a problem, but it
Mhm.
affects how young people perceive the movement, right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense that older people are the ones that dominate naturism because they have the time and the money to travel and to do all the things, and
And
younger
there are
people,
also an age where you don't care about whatever people say too. No.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That was my experience at Indian Hills. Uh, if you're ever up here in Louisiana, get in touch with me and we can go to the nudist park over here, not far from where I live. But when I'm over there, most of the people are 50 or older, I would guess.
Hmm.
But I've noticed that about them. They just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They're done living up to other people's standards, and their whole thing is, I'm gonna be me now. I'm gonna be myself, and I don't care what you say about it anymore, which is admirable.
Yeah. 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 So it's cool that we both decided to be someone to look, since we didn't find it now, and
Yeah.
that's amazing. Awesome.
Well, Angy, this has been so much fun talking to you today. This
I
has been great.
know. Yeah. I feel like we can continue scratching more and more and more information, no?
Yeah. Before we
Yeah.
go, I want to make sure that my viewers get an opportunity to get in on your content. Let's talk about your social media, your Patreon, how people can get involved. Tell us all about it, and I'll make sure that the things that you mentioned get down in the video description on YouTube and Vimeo.
Sure. So, well, I right now am traveling around Mexico to discover my beautiful country and to get to know those naturist hiding places where we can enjoy. So you can follow my trips, you can follow my adventures, all my social media. I use Mastodon. Are you on Mastodon?
Not yet, but I keep hearing about it. I should look into that.
Yeah, you should go. It's not growing fast, but I feel like it's like a community where you are safe and the people are there. I feel less sexualized in Mastodon than in Twitter, so it's a
Yeah.
good one. So
Okay.
yeah, so
I just wrote it down.
I especially will look for body social, body.social. It's
Body social. Okay.
the one that I am in. So I am on Body Social, Mastodon, and Twitter, Instagram, on Patreon, and YouTube as Angy with Y1DE. No, and over there I post my daily activities. No, in naturism and non-naturism, recommendations, where to go, what to do, and things like that. So it's a fun journey that you can follow.
That's
Look the
awesome.
world through my eyes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you for coming on and talking to me today. This was amazing.
Yeah, thank you to
I
you for
would,
the space.
yeah, I'm wishing you all the best. I know that we've got a lot more of the year ahead of us for naturist activities. I hope you get to do a lot more traveling and have a lot of fun. I'm going to be watching your videos to tag along, and hopefully
Thank
in
you.
2025 we can both make it to Cipolite.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Or if hopefully I can go and visit you on Louisiana before.
Maybe so. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie
That's
dokie.
it for today. Quick high five.
There you go.
All right. Everybody have a good day.
Ciao.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Mudwalkers. I had a blast on that interview. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I can't wait to talk to Angy again, actually. That was a really, really good time hanging out with her. Like I said, we have a bunch of links for her in the description. Make sure you check all those out. Follow her on social media. Check out her Patreon. Check out my Patreon. That's also linked in the description below. With that, I'm gonna do the part of the video that we all know is coming, Patreon shout out. This episode of Mudwalkers has been brought to you by my generous supporters on Patreon: Nature Him, Todd, Edward, John S., Joseph, Charlie, Lionheart, Adam, Edward T., Cyan, John W., Clifton, None Here, Alan M., Andrew K., Marty, Austin S., Martin C., Sup, Benjamin M., Greerbo, Tony S., Randy L., this person, JLDL, David H., Chris, and Lamont W. Guys, thank you so much for everything you're doing on Patreon. You guys are making all of this possible. You're making my work sustainable. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you're doing. Like I said, also do check out Angy's links down below. With that, I'll end the video here. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.